want to attack and say we have open borders and people are just flowing into our country, accusing our law enforcement personnel of not doing what they're down there to do. It's nonsense. It needs to stop immediately. All this rhetoric, I'm sorry, it looks like I'm out of time.
All right, thank you.
Can I respond to that or no?
We're going to come back to that issue later. We'll stay on this.
All eligible citizens to vote against the concerns of some to bolster voting integrity. What practices do you support?
I believe that we get the John Lewis Voting Act through. We've agreed in that process to allow for IDs, mandatory IDs, that before you vote. That is rational, that's reasonable. But all the other things that we see states doing, particularly Georgia, where if you're standing in a long line, no one can give you food or drink, it's absolutely absurd. We have to make sure that we're not interfering with one's ability, their constitutional right again, to cast a vote of the candidate that they choose. And it seems that when the MAGA Republicans want to lose, when they do lose on ideas, then they come with ways to prevent people from lawfully casting votes and interfere with people's constitutional right, guaranteed that they can go and vote for the person that they choose. So with respect to the laws that we currently have, I believe we continue to enforce them. And with respect to John Lewis voting rights, that's going to make it a little bit stronger, a little bit easier for people to cast a vote while preserving the integrity.
Mr. Van Drew.
More people voted in Georgia than ever, number one. Number two, everybody should have a picture ID. Everybody should have a signature recognition. To say that people who are minorities, whether they are Hispanics, Blacks, Asians, or whatever, are not capable of having a picture ID is demeaning to them, and I resent it. Number three, just to make something clear before I forget, I have the support, the official endorsement of the FOP and the PBA and the people at the border. And so it's the people at the border very strongly support President Trump. They in no way are getting the help that they need. It's a shame what's being done to them. They need a lot more help.
Mr. Van Drew.
So this is a process. I support a process in which people learn about America, where they learn about what our flag and our culture is like, where they get educated to what's going on, where they get on the back of the line because they came here illegally, but can go through a process. Not everybody who's come over, but the people who have lived here many years, particularly the Dreamers, who go through that process and become legal citizens. But what I also want to say is, I don't know what a racist dog whistle is, but I should not have one. I don't have one.
Mr. Alexander.
With respect to the Dreamers and the people who come here illegally, I agree actually with Mr. Van Drew that they should go through a process and not be granted automatic legal status. But that doesn't mean that they're here and draining from our society. In fact, because they don't have Social Security IDs and such, they are contributing by way of being taxpayers without being able to benefit from the resources. So I absolutely believe that we could set up a program, a system, that if you've been here for X number of years, perhaps even a decade or more, without having any run-ins with law enforcement, you've been a productive member of society, we should put you on a legal pathway to citizenship. With respect to the Dreamers, absolutely. They did not come here on their own. They were brought here by their parents. We should not punish them. We should take care of that issue and should have taken care of that issue long ago. So I'm 100% in favor of setting up a system that doesn't necessarily reward people for breaking our laws, but when they're here for a considerable period of time and they haven't broken our laws anymore, then we should get them on a pathway to legal citizenship.
With respect to whatever that is about having abortions at 9 months, physicians are charged with doing no harm, plain and simple. And whatever, when a woman who has a pregnancy that unfortunately is a miscarriage, and she can't go and have that stillborn child removed from her womb because the state doesn't allow it, that's a travesty. That's a travesty. And let me tell you something about New Jersey. We were always an election away from being a different kind of state. So we can't take anything for granted.
Mr. Van Drew, would you like 30 seconds?
Yes, I would like 30 seconds. That's not what this is about. That was still allowed. Abortion on demand, when you hear that, means that you can have abortion at any stage of the pregnancy, period. Let's not change what the definition is. Let's not try to sugarcoat it. Let's not make it something else. As somebody told me from one of the organizations when I spoke to them, they said, I believe, they were a different organization, that I should be able to get an abortion anytime, any place, at any stage of pregnancy. That's what it is.
You know, we have
So we're not long ago, $40 billion to go to Ukraine. And then we did another bill with more money that went to Ukraine. It was, I think, 15 or 16 billion more. And before all that, we did another bill. You know what I think? I think we got to take care of America. I think we got to take care of our military, our veterans, our homeless people, the people who are breaking their back, working every day. Because you know who's paying for all this? It ain't the rich people. It's you. Every time you look at your paycheck and you say, where the hell is my money going? It's you, every time.
Thank you. Mr. Alexander.
Sure, and taking care of our veterans doesn't mean you vote against the appropriations funding for our veterans in construction and veteran affairs. But here's the thing, I believe that we're doing it right in Ukraine, that we are not boots on the ground, that we're providing aid package, because Ukraine is an important economic partner. We see the effects of Russia attacking Ukraine. That is part of our supply issues, folks. That is part of our energy problem. That is part why we have a wheat shortage in this world, not just our country, because of what Russia decided to do. So supporting Ukraine, giving them the resources, where we don't have to put American soldiers in harm's way, I'm 100% in favor of it, because they are attacking us economically. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. And it's a good investment to push Russia out of Ukraine and allow that sovereign nation to resume business as normal as soon as they possibly can, because that's going to help the rest of the world, particularly the United States. It cannot be hyperbole that you want to support the troops and then you stab them in the back when you vote against them for automatic VA enrollment.
Thank you. Thank you. We've run out of time for questions. We now have 1 minute closing.